It's Tuesday morning in the fabulous Florida Keys. I'm Gary McAdams with eXp Realty. We're back to the chilly weather again today. It's supposed to be in the mid to upper 60s all day long, real windy all morning with the winds dying down around noon and sunny in the afternoon, but a little too cool for my liking. I know a lot of times I announce the current events of what's going on today in the Florida Keys when I do my video, but today I'm going to push up a little ahead to give you plenty of time to plan. The Blue Angels show is coming to Key West up on NAS Boca Chica, which is about 8 miles out of Key West at the airstrip. It's March 28th and March 29th. I've seen the show there at least half a dozen times. If you've never been to a Blue Angels show, definitely put that on your calendar of things to do. It is an absolutely amazing show. They'll have probably 100 different military aircrafts going back as far as what was used in the 1950s up to present day. And then the Blue Angels show itself is amazing. At any given point, they're less than 18 inches apart and traveling roughly 2,000 miles an hour. That's not only the trust you have to have, the pilot, I should say the pilot, not you. The pilot has to have in their own skill, but how much trust you have for your fellow pirates and your brother Blue Angels. When they're in formation 18 inches apart at 2,000 miles an hour, if one of them crashes, they're all crashing. It's an amazing show to watch. Definitely mark your calendars, March 29th and March 30th. This is my morning market MLS update video I do every day right about this same time. I report all the new listings in Key West and the lower Keys that have come on the market in the last 24 hours. If you watch this video every day, you will be ahead of most buyers. You'll know about all the new listings from Big Pine Key down to Key West the same day the realtors find out about them. You can also get a much more detailed description of these listings, including photographs, if you follow my blog, keywestinvesting.com. I'll put that web address in the description below. The blog is updated every day from the Florida Keys multiple listing service. It has a lot more information on the individual homes, a lot more details, any unique features the home might have, the photos of the inside of the home, photos of the outside of the home. If the home happens to be waterfront, it'll have photos of the water view, photos of the boat dockage. If there's a pool, there'll be photos of the pool. It's just a lot more information than I can cram into a couple-minute quick YouTube video. If you like this video and you want to see more just like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do a video like this every morning. And also, while you're clicking that subscribe button, if you could click the like button right next to it, it's a thumbs up symbol. That helps me advance in the YouTube algorithm and it helps my channel grow. So I'd appreciate that a lot if you could just take a second and click that like button. We have 6 new listings to go over today, but before I tell you about the listings, the state of Florida just has one too many lawyers in place and they make me cover the legal boring stuff. The information I'm about to give you comes directly from the Florida Keys multiple listing service. I'm not accepting any responsibility for any of these listings. I'm not claiming any of these listings to be my own listing, and I'm not accepting any responsibility if there's any inaccuracies in the information I give you. I'm simply reading it to you right from the Florida Keys multiple listing service. The first one we have is in a condo complex called Casa Castiles. The condo complex is right on the beach, right directly on the Atlantic Ocean. This one's a 2-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 1,940 square foot condo. Very private. They have a security gate to get in. There's only about a dozen or so units in the entire complex. The way they built their pool, the deck kind of drops off, so it's like an infinity-style pool where you feel like you're sitting in the ocean when you're sitting in the pool looking out at the ocean. The pool is absolutely beautiful. Each unit consists of 2 floors. Each unit has their own covered, deeded, private parking space under the building. There's also some guest parking out in front of the building, usually more than enough to go around. I've been over there quite a few times, and I've never had a problem parking. This was being offered at $1,888,900, which is an excellent price for a Casa Castiles unit. The only downside of this is if you buy this, you're buying it to be your home or your winter home. They do not allow any rentals of any form in Casa Castiles whatsoever, which is, if you want it as a winter home or you're planning on making it your year-round home, that's a great thing. With only a dozen units, you can know all your neighbors, you know who's coming and going all the time, and you don't have the transient vacation people. But if you're looking for a rental property, let the rental income offset the bills when you're not there, or solely as a rental income property, definitely this is not the one for you. But if you want it for your private home, it's a great property and a great location, and this is an excellent price for a Casa Castiles unit. Then in Key West's Newtown neighborhood on 4th Street, we have a renovation project. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,776 square foot home. It has a very large backyard for Key West, a beautiful pool in there. The pool is probably the only thing that doesn't need renovation. It's being offered at $785,000, which I wouldn't go as far as to say is overpriced, but it's definitely at the top of the price point. If you're looking for something to renovate and flip, you'd have to get it quite a bit lower than that to make the numbers work. If you were looking for something to renovate yourself and make it your home, if you put $150,000 into it, you'd have $1.2 million or so home, which is definitely a nice profit, but I still think it should be priced a little bit lower, but that's just my opinion. Then we go up to Cudjoe Key, to an area called Venture Out on Spanish Main Drive. Venture Out's a very unique property. The biggest feature and the most desirable feature of Venture Out, it has a complete one-day rental transient license. You can rent this like a hotel for one night at a time, or you can rent it year-round. Most of unincorporated Monroe County, which is the lower Keys, not including Marathon or Key West, has a 28-day minimum rental period by law. The actual island of Key West has a 30-day minimum rental period by law, unless you have one of these transient licenses. Marathon's a little bit looser. They're a 7-day minimum rental. Venture Out also has 24-hour manned gated security, and I've always said it's more difficult to get into Fort Knox or the White House than it is to get into Venture Out if you can't prove you're living there or renting there. They also have a 24-hour security guard either walking or riding the property in a golf cart. There's a full-service marina there, fuel dock, boat ramp, ship store. They sell bait and tackle, soft drinks, beer, wine, goodies, hats, sunblock, pretty much everything you'd need for a day on the water, whether you're just going out for a leisurely boat cruise or whether you're going fishing. They've got pretty much everything there. There's a pickleball court, a tennis court, a full-size regulation basketball court. There's a lot of barbecue areas. They have a lot of amenities in Venture Out. But Venture Out's one of those places you either really like or really dislike, and I happen to fall on the latter. To me, this one's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 816 square foot mobile home. It's being offered at $637,000. I just don't see $637,000 for a mobile home, which is a fancy way of saying trailer. I've ran the rental numbers on at least a dozen or more Venture Out units. I have one investor who told me originally he wanted to buy everything he could find, or anything he could find that was a good price in the Keys with a transient license. Your average gross ROI is about 4.5%, 5% if you get a good unit. Then by the time you pay your management fees, your park fees, your HOA fees, your maintenance fees, your cleaning fees, your property taxes, your insurance, your electric bill, your water bill, all the other fees, and then you allow in for a couple periods of time where you're going to have a vacant unit and not have the rental income coming in, you're at about a 2.5%, at best 3% actual net cash-on-cash ROI. You could take that same $637,000 and put it in a long-term high-yield CD at a savings bank and get that return or a better return and do absolutely nothing with no risk whatsoever. So I just don't see the investment that makes sense behind Venture Out. But that's just me personally. There's a lot of people in there that own 5, 6, 7 or more units, and they're very content and very happy with them. I'm just not one of those people myself. Then we go to Summerland Key on East Caribbean Drive. There's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 2,246 square foot canal front home. Summerland Key is very desirable amongst the boating community. The controlling depth coming into the canals and the canal system are much deeper than most of the lower keys. And as they say, along with bigger boats comes bigger homes and bigger price tags. This one's being offered at only $1,299,000, which is an extremely low price for a waterfront home on Summerland Key. You definitely want to take a look at this one sooner than later, especially if you have a large boat that you need to get in. Then we go to Ramrod Key on Mariposa Road. There's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,440 square foot house. It's on what they call a plugged canal. Oftentimes you'll see the term plugged canal or swimming canal. It looks just like a regular canal, like any canal front home, but they built a big dam at the end, so you cannot get any boat in or out of this canal. You can use it to swim in, kayak in, go visit your neighbors, paddleboard in. It's nice for a swimming feature. You have your own saltwater swimming pool right in the backyard. But it's being offered at $832,500, which I just think is overpriced for a swimming canal on the backside of Ramrod Key, which is the lesser of the two sides of Ramrod Key. And our next house is going to show where I see you could get a lot more for the money than buying a plugged canal. On Big Pine Key in a subdivision called Eden Pines, which is a very sought-after subdivision. Good deep water boating. You go right out into Pine Channel, which is a deep water channel. Under the bridge into Newfound Harbor, which is probably the deepest and widest boating channel in all of the lower Keys. Or you make a quick right and you're out in the Florida Keys backcountry for what I feel is the most beautiful boating in the Keys. You're in about 1.5 to 3 feet of water. You'll see the sea turtles, you'll see the stingrays turning over, the tarpon jumping, the permit, the bonefish. You'll see the nurse sharks burrowing under the sand. There's a lot of sandbars and uninhabited government-owned islands with nice sandy beaches. The locals will just beach their boat on and have an afternoon picnic on the water or afternoon happy hour cocktail water on the water and then come right back in. It's absolutely gorgeous out in the backcountry if you haven't been. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,440 square foot. I'm sorry, 1,250. I was reading you the one up there. That's what happens when I try to remember the MLS rather than to look down and read it. It's a 1,250 square foot canal front home. It's on a bigger lot than the house above that's on the swimming canal. You have about 70 foot of canal frontage, 70 foot of dock space, where you have no dock on the one above. This one's being offered at $849,000. So when you compare apples for apples, or in this case, it's more like apples for oranges, for another $17,000, you can get a house on the canal with your boat that's only about 5 miles from the one on Ramrod with 70 foot of dock frontage. A house with boating on the canal is going to hold its value and appreciate in value a lot more than one on a swimming canal. And that's all we have for today. If you want to take a look at any of these homes or any home anywhere in the Florida Keys, give me a call at 305-731-0501. And don't forget to check out my blog, keywestinvesting.com. I'm Gary McAdams with eXp Realty.